Okay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back again. I know you're probably sick of seeing me by now and listening to my god-awful monotone voice. Right, I loaded up the next video already, and it's the World War II US Airborne Collector. I've literally just looked at his name and I've forgotten it already. Yes, World War II US Airborne Collector. Although, amusingly enough, Fernando, I noticed that you've commented on this video already. That did make me smile. I also said hello. Right. I do like that this guy, he obviously has a fantastic collection. And strangely enough, in one of his other videos, he was talking about the pigeon parachute cages and the pigeon parachutes. And when he opened up the box, well, moved across the box for the parachute, for the pigeon cage, I thought to myself, wow, that's a coincidence. That looks exactly like the one I sold. The box was opened in a certain way. The foil inside was opened in a certain way. The little flappy label was loose. And I thought, no, that is the one I sold. So I stuck a message on there. And yet, sure enough, that is the very box that I sold after, discovered him on it. Then saw his other video. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then I find Fernando commenting on the same guy's posts. Same guy's videos, sorry. Okay, World War II US paratrooper Hawkins grenades, they are technically called, although reenactors have renamed them Hawkins mines because they work like a mine. The crusher plate on the back needs something to compress it like a mine. You don't pull a pin and throw these things. You can throw them once the detonators are in place, but you've still got to rely on something to crush them. So you can throw it under the tracks of a tank, under a vehicle, but you've got to be pretty accurate. Okay, let's hit play and see what he's got to say.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, World War II Airborne Collector. Today I'm going to be discussing this. Can we guess what it is?
Lovely.
It's a Hawker's mine.
Nope. It's a Hawkins mine.
Or also known as a Hawker's grenade. It's British made, issued to the US Airborne during World War II. Also issued to the SOE and the OSS, and even a lot of the French resistance had them as well. So what it is a mine or grenade. Now
yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it's a British number 79. Sorry, number 75 grenade. But again, it doesn't work like a grenade. But they classified it as a grenade. But for us, it's now called a Hawkins mine unofficially.
To start off, this is completely safe. This is just an empty tin. All the dangerous stuff has been taken out, so it's perfectly safe. I just want to go through the few markings on this and what to look for when purchasing one. So this is Hawkins mine. On the front, you'll have number 75. It's not really clear.
Just about see it.
I think you can just work that out.
Yeah.
And then underneath it, you'll also have SOTB stamped on that as well.
Underneath 75, you'll have the mark number. And that is, you can just see a Roman numeral I. So for 1, you get 3 types. Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. Mark 2 is right late war. Mark 3 is right at the closing stages of the war and post-war. Mark 1 is the only one used in Normandy. From that view, the only thing which will tell you differently is the number on the front, the mark number on the front. The back is very different though. There's a seam on the back plate. If it runs vertically from down the centre from the top to the bottom, it's Mark 2 or Mark 3. And Mark 1 goes horizontally. Annoyingly for us, reenactors, living historians, What Price Glory decided to make these, which is fantastic. They look stunning. They're solid. You can't break them. They made Mark II. Why, oh why did they make Mark II? So they can be converted with a lot of fucking around is the only term I can use. You fill in one of the eyes on the front, and I don't mean those sort of eyes, as in I the letter. So it then says Mark I. The back plate you can peel off, the 4 little lugs, take it off, and you can find replacements being sold exactly for this purpose. There's usually a guy on eBay that sells them. I think stand in the door reproductions in US make them. They also make cot straps and other useful bits and pieces. So they are fairly easy to convert. Obviously, this is an original Mark 1, so it's stunning.
And then also right next to that, after the T, we'll have a date on it. Now it goes month, and then underneath is the year. So on this one, is dated 5th, 1943. Yeah, so it's got 43, but you get the gist. And on the bottom, it's also got some more writing and the date stamped on the bottom.
Yeah, that's the filling detail. So that's who filled it, and with what explosive as well. Yeah, I mean, that means absolutely nothing to me. Obviously, there's dates and things there. EXP, you know, you're going to guess that's probably explosive. B and something would be the manufacturer or the filler.
That as well.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Now, how these work is that there's a pressure plate on the back. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between this one and a Mark II. Now, I can't actually physically show you because I don't own one. But this is obviously a Mark 1. It's also stamped in the middle underneath the number 75. Underneath it's got a digit of 1. Then there will come out of a Mark II. Now, the difference in the Mark II is that through here, should be a little hole and a pin goes all the way through. And then that is a safety to stop this from compressing and letting it ignite and go off. But this is a Mark 1, so it hasn't got one.
Okay, but you're not going to mention the biggest difference. This line going horizontally across is a Mark 1. If it was Mark 2, it would run right the way down the length of there. That is the biggest difference.
But this is a Mark 1, so it hasn't got one. It's got a screw cap, which also has got the same Sorry, I'm saying, shouldn't even look at this before I started. SOTB, same what's written now, it should be stamped on the top. Now, these are quite rare. And you might have seen one. I don't know if anyone's
Oh no. Oh no. I've got a bad feeling. What's he going to mention? This is going to be something along the lines of, you might have seen them in... What are we going to go with? Which one? Bandwagoner brothels or Shaving Ryan's privates? Don't think it's going to be anything else, because nothing else is really that modern that has sort of detail that would carry something like this. I'm going to go Bandwagoner brothels.
Remember, there's a part in Saving Private Ryan where the paratroopers, right at the end, when Tom Hanks meets up with Ryan and they're going to do the final scene shootout in the village, the paratrooper's got a couple of these and he lays them up the side, and then when the Germans walk through, he lets it off. So that's what this is.
Yeah.
You see a lot of paratroopers in Normandy with these. You see a lot.
Sorry. Welcome to the Watch Me Drink Beer channel.
Of them tied to their ankles.
Yeah, everybody got one. Every paratrooper was given a Hawkins mine, or Hawkins grenade, and a Gammon grenade. And yet, the best place to strap it, a pound of explosive in a metal can attached to your ankle with a cot strap. Sounds a great idea, really, doesn't it?
Back in their music bags. And what they pretty much did was either put the Type 1 leg tie through that onto the bottom of the...
Oh, you know what? I just feel like I've been stabbed in the heart. Did you hear that? Oh, no, no. For somebody with such an amazing collection of items and fantastic books, how can you say a Type 1 leg tie? A Type 1 leg tie? Oh, you don't know what you've just done to me. Oh, man. No. No, 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 no. It's a cot strap. It's a cot strap. It's just a cot strap.
Ankle, or even white gauze, which was like a medical bandage.
Okay, they did tie them on with bootlaces, or anything that was to hand, you tie them on with. Even white tape, black tape. But the white thing I think he means is the cot strap.
Oh. I've even seen shoelaces.
Yep.
Tied with these tied to their legs. But yeah, that's most common where you see one of these on a US paratrooper.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
I say, every bloke was issued with one.
Yep.
To my knowledge.
Yes. No, you're spot on.
But yeah, they're pretty cool. Now it pretty much works is that crushes.
Well, okay, jumping ahead a bit. There's two little sleeves, which, hold on, where's the mouse? I don't know what you're pointing, is it? You can't see what I'm pointing at. In here, and you have, I think it's a oh, I'm going to get the wrong number if I try and guess. There's two fuses. They look about, yeah, about that long. Brilliant. That's really helpful, isn't it? It's about as long as, yeah, an SOE pull switch, if you know how big one of those is. A third of it is the detonator, which pushes together. There's a little rubber washer. You push it into the thing. You put the rubber washer over so it seals it and keeps it in place. And then when that plate crushes down, it breaks the capsule inside, releases the acid, which starts to deteriorate, then causes the explosion in the detonator.
And there's a glass valve in there, obviously not in this one.
The acid, yeah.
And it's got an acid in it, which then does, I'm not 100% sure, is either a fuse in there and it does a chemical reaction, which burns, there should be like a little bit of copper, the acid burns it. It
reacts with another chemical and that sets off the detonator, yeah.
Ignites it, or it might just be a whole chemical reaction inside, but then lets it go off. Originally designed for blowing off tank tracks. Ideal for going underneath railway lines as well.
Well, it's got an interesting history. After the Dunkirk evacuation, so much of the anti-tank equipment was lost during the retreat from France, that there was just a shortage of everything. So this was developed to give an anti-tank weapon of any sort of caliber, anything that can be carried and used. That's where this comes from.
Train goes over, pushes down,
yeah,
ignites. That's why a lot of French resistance and SOE was using them a lot. Yeah, thousands of them made, can barely find them now.
Yeah.
Nice original item. I hope this video has been sort of helpful. If you have any more issues? Why would I have issues? Any more?
Yeah, the pressure of making videos. I know you end up talking absolute rubbish and then going, "What the hell am I on about?"
Questions about this? Please give me a message. And
there we go. That's what. Well, no, I wanted to see the side, so we talk about the paint. The official colour of these in the US field manual states it as being OD. So olive drab. The British manuals say that it's buff. Now, buff is a real strange term for a colour, but I guess it's something along the lines of sort of a dark khaki sort of colour. And khaki obviously meaning... For those who don't know what khaki means and what colour khaki actually is, khaki is an Indian word which means dust. Imagine clouds of dust driving through the desert. That's khaki. That's the easiest way to imagine it. Hence why if you look at the M42 jumpsuit behind him, people call that khaki. It's that sort of colour. But of course, the image of clouds of dust being kicked up by tanks and vehicles, imagine how many different shades of that sort of colour is in there. That's why khaki gets used for everything, because it's not one shade. There's no correct khaki term. But then you as well as the OD and the... I've forgotten the word now. Brilliant. Whatever the British call it. I've forgotten. Not khaki. The other term. Oh, God. My mind's gone completely blank. You find a lot of it painted in that red oxide. The sort of primer sort of colour. So I'm not entirely sure what colour we should be painting the What Price Glory ones when we get them. The markings on the front that are painted, you usually get 2 bands around the top. That will determine what type of explosive goes in it. I've got all this written down in the book I'm writing. There's 4 different types of explosive. There's amatol. There's all the usual sorts of stuff. Depending on if it's got crosses on the front, if it's got, I know it's a white. I think 2 white bands for amatol and a white A on the front. The caps were also painted in different colours, depending on who filled it and what the explosive was. Some were bright red, some were bright pink. I think there's a white one. But all this depends on what the contents and what the explosive actually is. So I think it's kind of if that's bare metal or if that's been painted a different colour.
Good thing to go with US Airborne.
But I know it's a lovely, lovely thing. You don't see many original cans anymore. I've not even seen remnants of them for years.
US Airborne.
Yeah, awesome item. Let's actually, that's only 15 minutes. Let's flick to another one of his videos, because I like this guy's videos. He has some amazing things. Oh, I'll give him a like. Oh, good, I have subscribed. Oh my word, I reacted to this video. Also, added some further information about, you know, I'm even going to put Hawker's winky face, and hopefully that's taken in jest and not me being an arsehole. You never know, sarcasm doesn't come across very well in text. Videos. What have we got? That's the pigeon video I was talking about. Oh, do we be brave? Oh, it's 4 minutes long. Let's have a look. What? Oh, good old adverts. It's okay. We can skip adverts. Oh. Refresh. Adverts don't like playing on my system. I've told them not to. Oh, apparently nothing. Apparently nothing likes playing. See? Come on. Oh, it's great, isn't it, trying to do something while you're recording?
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, World War II Airborne Collector. You can also check me out on Instagram, and that is World War II Airborne Collector again. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the life preserver. This is type B4. Now,
I was just trying to remember what it was, and I couldn't get it quick enough. I was going to say B6.
Originally designed, obviously, for the crews of US Air Force on the planes. But also the airborne units use these, because obviously a lot of their jumps involved crossing water. So if they ever went down, they had these to help them stay afloat. So I'm just going to run through a few items.
Especially when you imagine how much weight they're carrying. I know we've seen 100 videos where they say they carried as much as they possibly could carry, which, you know, again is nonsense. But even just 100 rounds, a couple of grenades, your webbing, your uniform, once that's wet, you weigh a hell of a lot. That is not going to keep you afloat.
Few items, few details of this, what to look for in purchasing one. So, now this, well, it's not unfortunate, it's just how it goes. Becomes quite stiff, because obviously it's an old rubber, hardens, and starts to, well, this one hasn't started to crack, but some they do. Yeah. And so sometimes they do deteriorate sort of quite badly. But some of them are usually alright. It's just obviously keep searching and you find a nice one. So down here there's a little bit of information about the item, or about the life preserver. It was made by the New York Rubber Company, and it's also then got the property of the US Air Force, US Army. Nice. Stamped down there, which is quite nice. And then the date of August 1943. Now I believe that's when it was manufactured. Yeah. Because then also there's another inspection date up here.
Just going to say exactly that. There'll be inspection dates somewhere because it's rubber.
You might be able to see, I don't know. So you can see it vaguely up there. And that is the 4th of the 15th, 1944. Obviously, Americans had it the other way around because I'm British, so it's like, that's actually the 15th of the 4th, 19th.
Yeah, as for dates, we do it the logical way. Day, month, year. The days come first. It doesn't...
44. But yeah, so talk a little bit more about it. So underneath you see the CO2 canister that goes in there. It's not, that's the trigger, but the canister will go inside. So when you pull this string that's got a little plastic cylinder, it's got like a trigger that will then go up and pierce the CO2 canister and inflate it.
It's very similar to the ones in the... Oh, is it the M1927 life preserver? The belts they wore for Normandy, the guys going ashore on the beaches. I'm sure it's the same sort of mechanism.
Same on the other side. Now you've noticed that one's on the left, and that one is then Oh, they're both on the left because it's how I'm holding the camera. But they're both on reserve sides. Because where it's split, that one would then inflate the back. And the other one would inflate the front.
Yep.
And then you have the top up hose on there. And same on there. But unfortunately, I'm missing hose on that. But I can find something to replace that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep, and then the strap goes around the waist and then the other one goes between the legs. Now usually when you see in the photos, it's like the original photos of the airborne units using them, they never really used to put that around their waist. You can usually just see it dangling. But yeah, like I say, they use this for, because obviously most of the jumps go into Normandy, going over the channel, and then the jump into Sicily and Italy, obviously had to travel over water. So the idea was if you got that and you go down, helps you stay afloat, which unfortunately some planes did go down in the channel and also when they went into Sicily.
Yeah, a lot went down in the sea. The problem, as I said earlier, the problem being is they're carrying so much kit. Unless they can shed that kit very, very quickly, you will drown. There's, you know, just your clothes alone. You've got, you know, thermal trousers, wool trousers, which, you know, will absorb water like a sponge. Your M42 trousers not so much because they're impregnated already with that awful CC2 treatment, but they're still heavy. You've got possibly a thermal top, a vest, a shirt, your jacket, then all your webbing. It's so much weight once you hit that water.
But that's a whole nother story.
Also, assuming you've got out your parachute. Again, that is a giant lump of weight. When that's wet, just taking that, imagine trying to take that off in water. You're underwater, you've got to take off your parachute, your webbing. Yeah, that is going to do nothing until you've shed off a whole load of equipment.
But what I think, and what was kind of a bit of a downfall, is that they put this on underneath a lot of equipment. Like, they would put their T5 on.
Yep. Another valid point. Yeah. What he's gonna say is, you know, it's underneath all that kit. It's got to inflate with all that stuff, compressing it. Yeah.
Stick this on. Then they would do the parachute over the top of this, and then put a reserve pack on top of this, and even they would have even their webbing and all gear and like that as well. So when this did inflate, it wouldn't really do much at all. Because they'd be so heavy anyway with all the equipment.
There we go.
There wouldn't be much room for this. So unfortunately, it didn't really work that well.
No.
To my knowledge and to what I've looked at and seen. You might have some different opinions on that. That's fair enough. But yeah, so this is the life preserver. I hope this video has been a little bit interesting. A little bit knowledgeable. But yeah, if you want any more detail on this, please let me know and I can try and help you out. Yeah.
No, another lovely item. Yeah. It's one of those things that you see a lot of reenactors go and buy ones of, but unless you are doing pre-jump, which not many people do, because it's not very exciting. You know, wearing HBTs or getting ready before you jump. There's no point in buying one because the first thing you do when you hit the ground, throw that away, throw your Griswold bag away. There's no point wearing them. Yeah, but a lovely thing. For the 501, the 502, the 506, each, I want to say May West, but it's not really a May. People call them May West. Let's just call it a May West just for the sake of the video. Each May West would have stenciled the initials of the commander of the unit. I think 502 was GAV. I believe, I can't remember. And then, who was the commander of the 506? I can't remember his name. Oh, for God's sake, what is the matter with me? No, I can't remember. I know it was two initials for the 506. I can't remember the 501. Also, the 501 had a sort of a dash, a lightning bolt, and then I think another little dash or a head of like an arrow. That's the only one with anything pretty on it. But, of course, to find one of those would be extremely rare and extremely valuable. Because anything, you know, D-Day related, paratrooper related. You're going to be paying through it, paying through the nose for it. But yeah, stunning item. Not really something we can use, but it's still lovely to see. Also spot the SCR 5536 or whatever number that is, 611. I can't remember. You get confused with all these numbers. Also Lego. Okay. Right. Until next time.